Hello internet viewers, welcome to this channel. Today, rudiments of Python coding a hockey game. So I did nothing in Python about a week ago, so I kind of got into it little by little. Obviously the AIs came in big time to help, and as you can see, just get rid of this. Okay. This is the game. I got Python to draw all these elements. No, can I see my mouse over the screen? No, okay. All these elements, and we have the equivalent of the old Coleco game that you get at Christmas, and it had push-pull rods, and then if you turned the rod, it would spin the player around, and then you'd wildly flail around until the puck went into the net. And you cheered, right? So, alright, let's see if I can get this in view. What I have here is VS Studio, so let's see what I can get from VS Studio's about. Visual Studio Code, so VS Code. It's free for anyone to download and install on your computer. Anyway, nothing mysterious about that, okay? So then you start your project, asks you for a name, and before long you're sitting at the Explorer here with nothing in it, so you add a main, or you add some form of Python code. And what I had was, I think it was called hockey, everything in one file. On the side here you can see the whole body of the code, and that was supposed to run on its own. I don't know if it still runs. Yeah. So here even the puck moves around. So I kept asking the AIs, okay, how can I do this? How can I do that? Again, I think I can't see my mouse. Okay. That's maybe something that I'm doing in the Python code, is that I'm hiding the mouse. But you get the idea now. What are all these files, right? The README MD markdown document is pretty self-evident. How could I view that? Do you open preview? So Coleco-style hockey game contains a retro style hockey game that listens on a UDP port. So what does UDP mean? I'm doing this on the other screen there. Stand for User Datagram Protocol. So lightweight core communication protocol used to send datagrams across the internet. Unlike TCP/IP or TCP transmission control protocol, UDP is connectionless, meaning it skips establishing a connection or transferring data, makes it extremely fast, though less reliable. So that's kind of what I figured out, is if you have a computer and you have several smartphones, everybody could have a connection to your computer program through UDP, and they could control the push rod and the twisting of the push rod, and could have one or two, or maybe one person could control all 5 push rods, and they could play on a big screen TV, and then you can keep adding and adding and adding to the game. Getting people to interview the players. So Big Bobby Clobber, how did you find the first period? Oh, we gave it 200%, and it's a really big game. Anyway, I digress. Okay, that's going into the fun of it. But just to say that this is all accessible to anyone with AI. You just keep asking questions, and they'll keep answering you. I knew nothing about what this meant. It's all Greek to me, but you catch on, right? So Python hockey.py runs the game. Now if I did that right now from the command prompt, I expect it to work. So Python hockey.python can't open file, blah blah blah, no such file or directory. Okay, I think I am. So the path has to be set to your hockey Python path, and where is it? Well, anyway, let me ask. So I'll go to Gemini, just like that. Tell it where I put it. Maybe that'll help. Now, if I go to my everything for hockey.python, it should find it. So sorting file names, that's the link. Just open that in properties. Prog Python hockey Python. That's where it is. Okay, let's see if I will see here. But if I run this, Control C. Okay. No. Trick here is to just right click. I right click that, copies it. Let's see what. The classic where am I? The command line mix up. We've all been there. The error message tells us exactly what's happening. You are currently sitting the root X drive, so Python is for hockey, right? There's no idea that the file is actually tucked away inside. Blah blah blah. Quick one. Change directories first to tell the blah 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 blah. Or if you don't want to change folder, just tell Python exactly where to be, giving it the absolute path. I set up environment variable entry. Yes, variable. So yeah, I think it's just I would need to tell it where to go exactly, or go to that directory first, or create a batch file that does exactly that. So if I do this cd my drive, that will bring me to the hockey subdirectory where my game is. Let's try that. Right click, pastes that. And now if I just type in Python, I wonder if I just say hockey. No, there you go. So little rigmarole stuff that you need to learn once, and then once you know that, you're done. You know it. Escapes out of there. Cancel that. So, you know, you can't break anything unless you're telling the Python code to format your hard drive without asking for acknowledgement. But yeah, you can't hurt anything. Usually there's nothing you can do that's going to break a code or computer. You can just keep asking questions and trying to get answers. So one of the things I'll go in before leaving and letting you experiment on your own. So I did start with this. One file has everything, and then I asked the AI, okay, can I break it into modules? And it said yes. We'll create a main, right, that will call everything else. And while it has fewer lines, right, but it does do definitions. It does define init dimensions, and it defines create rods, the push rods, create goalies. Main is, I guess these are sort of subdirect procedures that can be called. Okay, and if name equal, I'm going to ask what this means because I'm curious. I don't have a handle on that yet. Why this? That little snippet is one of the most common design patterns in Python. In short, it is a safety guard that controls how your code on how the file is being run. Basically says only run the main function if this file is being executed directly. Do not run it if the file is being ported by another script. So okay, that's what it does. I still have no idea how this command means that. Why there's a colon here. This is okay. I think this is if then. Oops, the equivalent of then. Do this. Okay, so this is a condition. Name is underscore main underscore then run main. So there must be reasons for this that I'm just not aware of. I grew up writing code in BASIC, and then I went on to C#, WPF, Windows Presentation Foundation, C++, and now that the AIs are here, I'm branching out in different, more popular languages. Why it's necessary. The problem, Python runs everything on site. Whenever Python opens a file, it executes every line of code inside it from top to bottom. Imagine you have HockeyGame Py or a specific function from it, like calculate score, to a brand new script called tournament.py. Your hockey.py file just calls main at the bottom without if state. Entire game will launch automatically. Second, you try to import Py. That is not what you want. Input variable has a special built-in variable called underscore name score, pronounced dunder name. Sets this variable automatically on the scene the script was started. Okay, if you run the file directly, typing that on secret names this equal main. If you import the file into another script, import hockey sets the name to hockey. If I externally try to run a program, I'll be able to check if it's so by checking the contents of this variable. equals to, if you type Python, you try to run hockey from another script or import it from another script or access script, I guess, import it, then that would launch, but the other script can safely functions. Okay, so at least it gives me an idea what that was for. I'm less worried about that. So yeah, if I just keep collapsing things here, that's the extent of it. Let's use. So this is getting, these lines are importing modules, arg parse, sys, PyGame, OpenGL.gl. These variables, global variables are being imported. You should be able to put things on succeeding lines inside of brackets. You just go ahead and make things fall under a shorter line. If you're not, the import constants, import draw. So constants, I know now, is one of the files that I created, contains of constants. Import draw is another file that. So I asked, can I split up the game in different modules, and now that's what it's doing. It's bringing everything together in this main.python. It's importing draw, and then it's saying from utils. So explain the subtlety of import and from. Okay, from this, import that. Okay, from this, import this. So rod, goalie, puck, those are what? Variables inside of models. So rod, this looks like a type definition where you're specifying members, you're assigning a value based on X or Y, or whatever it is. Yeah, okay, it collapsed. So if I'm not mistaken, this is the whole part of object-oriented programming, is that define variables that have dot members, dot twirl active. If you assign it to false, that's you're kind of grouping things together. So a command is being set up here to have members. So later on somewhere in your program, you're saying command dot direction. I want it to be this or that. Here it's looking at if CMD. So CMD is command dot strip lower, to assume that command can be assigned a string variable, and then it's checking if it's up or U. Assign the direction to -1. If it's down, assign the direction to 1. So every time command will be assigned a string, we're to assume this procedure of if and else will be enacted unless you have to ask for it to be enacted. It may be that I'm thinking it's automatic from now on in your program, depend on target direction having -1 or +1, depending on what the string was stored in. And there's just making sure that if you wrote the string in uppercase characters, it's getting the lowercase version. And strip probably means it would take away leading and trailing spaces. Okay, I'm getting the hang of it. I'll leave you with that. I just want to encourage you, if you're this type of adventure coder, that don't be afraid, especially now with the AIs. You'll get all the help that you want. Something I did want to mention is the Cherno wants to start a game. Did he say game platform or game engine? A 3D game engine? Just for the exercise, I imagine just for the exercise, but let's go find the Cherno. The Cherno, very forthcoming YouTuber that knows his way around C++. He put in the time. When he was saying that at university he wanted to know more about gaming, and he eventually did learn a lot more about how to code a game in C++, he was asking his professors or advisors and stuff like that. They didn't know. They couldn't tell him. So he was kind of looking around and probably saying to himself, "What the heck am I doing here?" Right? So he eventually did get this information, and he's kind of sharing this whole adventure with everybody else. Right now, he's working on a program for a company that they want to be able to simulate an environment virtually before giving actions to a robot. Pick up the glass, or pick up the bead, or pick up the tape, the pen, stuff that we take for granted. We just have to ask ourselves to do it, and we'll immediately go for actions built into our brains, right? We hardly have to think. So that will be going on in the computer's mind. They'll say, okay, they told me to pick up a pen. Where's the pen? So scan, scan, scan. There it is. Okay. So now if I try to do this and that, turn my head, is that efficient? No, it's not efficient. I should be able to do these things more all in one motion. So anyway, he does want to try to build a 3D game engine. So I'm going to try to get in on this. I don't know how it's going to go, but I think I'm ready to learn from this guy and just see where it goes. I did toy with OpenGL in the past, and I got a 3D demo going with shadows. Not too bad, but you're always missing pieces of the puzzle. You're always thinking, oh geez, how can I improve this? And then it just seems way too abstract. You don't know where to go, or you run out of steam, or trying to eventually interested in something else. Anyway, I'm going to try to follow up on this project, the Cherno. If you're interested, join in, chime in, and we'll go for this adventure together. All right, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like these videos, and we'll see you in the next one.